Hi everyone, this is Nadia here, and today I will be doing a financial distress screencast. In this screencast, I will be discussing what financial distress is, what business tendencies are likely to promote financial distress, signs that your business is financially distressed, your options and what you can do if your business is financially distressed, liquidation, workout plans, and bankruptcy, and also resources of who can help. According to Investopedia.com, financial distress is a condition where a company cannot meet or has difficulty paying off its financial obligations to its creditors. What business tendencies are likely to promote financial distress? Well, typically businesses that have low sales and high expenses, unrealistic budgeting and pricing, insufficient accounting practices, lack of cash flow, and poor debt management are typically the businesses that will probably suffer from financial distress. Next, we will look at the signs that your business is financially distressed. The first sign could be that you have the inability to calculate or forecast your cash flow. In this case, you would probably need to contact your accountant to see what's going on, or if you don't have an accountant, get an accountant to see if they can recalculate or try to forecast your cash flow. The next one is uncontrolled growth or expansion with insufficient working capital. So if your business is a business that has grown very rapidly, but you don't have the working capital to continue to support that growth, then that could be a sign that your business is financially distressed. Next is the over-reliance on borrowed funds. This means that the company is not able to run on internally generated funds, but instead uses the money that it has borrowed from the bank or from a lender to solely um, take care or pay the bills of the business. And in that case, it could possibly be financially distressed. The next one is difficulty paying creditors and tax obligations as they become due. The next one is high employee turnover and the inability to maintain staff. And the last one is increasing marketing and advertising budget, indicating that the business is chasing customers and sales at the expense of the profit or profitability. This means that over a long period of time that you are continually increasing the marketing and advertising budget, trying to get more and more customers to come in, even though it's not showing any increase in profits. So what do you do if your business is in trouble? Here we have a picture of Marcus Lemonis, the star of the series The Prophet, where he goes into businesses and tries to help businesses in trouble. And we'll get to what he does in just a second. So, what are your options and what can you do? One option that you could do is you could possibly pass your business on. Typically, like if you are in a family business and maybe you inherited the business, but you have a sibling, or maybe you can give it back to the person that you inherited it from and see if they could possibly help you get the business back on track. That could be an option for you. Also, another option could be if you wanted to merge it with another business, maybe a business is similar to yours is in better shape. Maybe they could see the benefits to merging, so that could be an option. Also, the third might be to sell it as a uh, going concern. Basically, that just means that when you sell it, the person that is buying knows the debt that you're in or the debt that the business is in, and there's no surprises. They know that they're getting it basically as is, dealing with the issues that have accumulated from you being in charge of it. Some other things that you can do. You can seek out outside agencies and get specialist advice. You can also liquidate unnecessary assets. So if you have some things that are unnecessary for the business flow, maybe you can sell them. If you can get enough money back, you can pay some of your creditors back. The next one is you can collect money owed from customers. Sometimes customers are invoiced, um, and so they don't have to pay anything until a month later or 2 months later. One thing that you could do is maybe start to go ahead and collect that money a little bit earlier, tell them maybe the situation. If some customers are past due, go ahead and collect that money. that type of thing, so that you can go ahead and pay some of your creditors back. In non-essential relationships, this one's kind of a tough one. It's basically talking about if you have like an employee or a position which you don't really need, but you're paying for them, or maybe you can merge the positions into one. It's advising that you go ahead and end those relationships that are non-essential, to save money and maybe use that money towards paying back some debts. Also, look into restructuring. We'll actually go into that a little bit more next. And then consider all financing options available. Sometimes people who are already in financial distress with their business don't really consider any financial financing options because they're already in debt with banks or lenders. But this is basically just saying that look at all your financing options, see who else can help, what other financial institutions can help, maybe to consolidate some things or just to try to get it under control. And just basically that you never know, they could possibly help you pay some things down or get some things at a lower rate, so that you go ahead and pay it off. If those options aren't going to work for you, there's three options that you can maybe look at. The first option is liquidating assets. Liquidation is a process by which a company or a part of a company is brought to an end and the assets and the property of the company are redistributed or sold. So if you decided that liquidation might be the option for you, meaning that once you sell all of your assets, that you would be able to put your head above water with your creditors, then here are a few steps on liquidation. So the first one is that you need to go ahead and consult a lawyer and your accountant. Let them know what you're trying to do. The lawyer and the accountant can go ahead and contact your creditors. Let them know that the money that you get from liquidation will go to them, making sure that everybody's on one accord as far as what's going to happen. That would be the first step you would need to take. The second step would be to scrutinize your assets. So look at your inventory, assess your inventory, and prepare each item for sale. This doesn't mean price your items. It just basically means if you have old, broken furniture, donate those and get a tax write-off for those. But if you have things that need to be cleaned, repainted, just spruced up a little bit, that's what you need to do in this step. Number three is to secure your merchandise. If you had to abruptly kind of close down the business, maybe you have disgruntled customers, maybe you have disgruntled employees. Basically, it's just saying that you may need to collect keys, you may need to change the locks, you may need to hire security or do something like that to secure your merchandise. If something happens to the merchandise, there's going to be nothing to sell. Number four, establish the liquidation value of your assets. So typically, your assets, of course, are not going to go for as much as you have paid for them. It's at least going to be marked off 20% or even more. Um, and so, therefore, you need to go ahead and assess the value of that to see how much you'll actually make off of them. Make certain that the sale is worthwhile. So at the end of the day, if you add up everything that you're supposed to sell, and after advertising for the liquidation sale and moving and storage for the liquidation, you have to make sure that the sale is actually worthwhile and that you'll actually make a profit from it and actually be able to pay people back. Number six is choose the best type of sale for your merchandise. So this is basically just saying you could do a consignment sale. If that's not a good sale for your merchandise, maybe you can look into selling things on the internet or even possibly doing an auction. So basically, it's just saying explore your options so you can get the most of your return from selling your merchandise. Number seven is select the best time for your sale, especially if you have seasonal materials. Number eight is hold your sale at the most appropriate location. If you have a disgruntled landlord because you haven't been paying rent or the lease, they may not allow you to do the sale at the business that you're located at. And so in that case, you may have to find a different location. Number nine is hire an expert to conduct your sale. So some people specialize in these things and they want to see you get the most return on your investment as well. So hiring somebody as an expert to price those items and to sell those items could be the best thing to do. And then number 10 is use a non-recourse bill of sale. Basically, your lawyers and your accountants probably will handle part of this, but basically it's saying that as each person buys something from you, make sure that you give them a bill of sale, that it's as is, that no repair is going to happen to it, that you can't refund anything, just so they know. Okay, if liquidation is not a good option for you, maybe you're not going to be able to pay your creditors back or come out above water doing it, you could possibly look into a workout plan. A workout plan is a plan with new tactics and strategy to prove profitability as a business entity is fully managing and balancing debt with goals that clearly demonstrate a different profile. The goal of the workout plan is to resume business through restructuring of the company without having to file for bankruptcy. Earlier, we saw a picture of Marcus Lemonis, who has to show the profit, and this is basically what he comes in and does. He does a workout plan. When you do a workout plan, you have to gain assistance from an outside agency or specialist. Okay, here's some specifications about what they do. First, they're going to analyze clients' financial standing and determine if you can actually avoid bankruptcy. Then they're going to negotiate and communicate with creditors. So typically they're going to be the middleman. So they're going to talk to you about what's going to go on, but they're also going to communicate with the creditors and let them know that a third party is involved and that they're trying to get everything straight. Um, the next thing they're going to do is revamp the business plan. So they're going to look into it, try to figure out how to make the business plan better and have a better plan for the business to succeed for long term. Then they're going to restructure your debt. So see if they can come up with a payment plan with creditors, see if they can negotiate on how much they owe, things like that to that nature. Next, they're going to devise a better business strategy. So maybe your strategy or your packaging or your product needs to be revamped a little bit. So they're going to devise a better business strategy and go with that. Then they're going to give preparation to unforeseen issues. So if they see issues down the road that could possibly happen with business, they're going to go ahead and prepare for those. And then they also become the business's overseer for the time being. So they're going to stick straight and narrow to the plan that they have set in place. And basically, they're going to be the person that will communicate or either say yay or nay to some of the decisions that need to be made. If liquidation and the workout plan does not work, then bankruptcy may be the only alternative. Bankruptcy is a legal status of a person or other entity that cannot repay the debts it owes to creditors. In most jurisdictions, bankruptcy is imposed by a court order, often initiated by a debtor. There's different types of bankruptcy. The first one is Chapter 7. It's more commonly referred to as liquidation. This bankruptcy route is appropriate when a business has no future and lacks substantial assets, and this is typically for your sole proprietors and small businesses. Chapter 11 is if your business has a plan for future recovery. Chapter 11 supports the continuation of business under a reorganization plan, and typically with a reorganization plan, you have to involve a lawyer and an accountant. This is for sole proprietors, corporations, and partnerships. Chapter 13 is when you file a repayment plan with the bankruptcy court detailing how you're going to repay back the debts. But this is only for sole proprietors. And Chapter 12 is a repayment plan to make installments to creditors over 3 to 5 years. But this is for family farmers and family fishermen. Okay, so here are a couple benefits and drawbacks to each bankruptcy. Chapter 7 provides an easy way to close down and liquidate your business. The drawback of that is that it negatively affects your credit and it stays with you for 10 years. Chapter 11, the only bankruptcy option for small businesses seeking a restructure and continuing in operation is the benefit, but the drawback is that it's very expensive, it's risky, time consuming, and can be complex. Chapter 13 is you get to keep all your assets and pay back all or a portion of your debts through a repayment plan. But the only thing is that it's for sole proprietors and it can be subject to debt limits. Chapter 12 allows family farmers and family fishermen to restructure their finances to avoid liquidation or foreclosure. The drawback to that is it's a very limited application. Only family farmers and fishermen with regular annual income can file. Resources of who can help. Again, you can seek a financial turnaround consultant. You can look into accountants and lawyers to help you guide the way, and then also financial institutions. Thank you for watching.